The debacle in the Des Moines Community School District with the school board hiring an alleged illegal alien to be a superintendent of the school who also, hedged on his resume, and it appears the school board knew that the resume was inaccurate. Well, all of that has given a boost to school choice advocates in Iowa, and certainly if you look at the numbers, there are a lot of parents opting out of the Des Moines Community School District. So where are we at nationwide, in Iowa and across the nation, in the school choice movement? We're not at a point yet where you can say that school choice is solidly a part of policies in states like Iowa and across the nation. Let's talk it over with Ed Tarnowski, a policy and advocacy director at Ed Choice. Ed is on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Ed, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, Ed. So tell me about your assessment of the state of educational choice policies across the nation.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're seeing is private school choice programs that allow families to take the per pupil funding and take it to private school or other options with universal eligibility are certainly doing well. We have 19 of those now. However, a lot of those programs aren't actually funding all students. So, for example, I use Utah as an often example. Yes, it has universal eligibility. Any student can apply for the private school choice education savings account out there. However, it's only funded with an $80 million appropriation, which equals out to about only 10,000 kids maximum. So is that truly universal? Not on the same footing as district schools, that's for sure.
Well, and Ed, you use the term universal in your answer there. Tell me what that means for an education choice advocate. Ultimately, what do you want to see?
Right. And what we're seeing is, again, we see programs certainly with universal eligibility fast spreading. However, that's not meeting true universality yet. And what true universality also includes is that proper funding mechanism and a wide array of allowable educational expenses. So, for example, not just being able to use program funds on private school tuition alone. And a lot of states can also take it to be used on tutoring or certain therapies, curriculum, homeschooling, and then that funding mechanism. We want to make sure that all families are guaranteed funding, not just that there's a cap on funding that essentially serves as a quasi-enrollment cap. We want to see it integrated into the state's education funding formula, where that money already set aside to educate each child is truly following each child whose families want them to take them to a different option over necessarily their local district school.
You're listening to Ed Tarnowski of the organization Ed Choice on News Radio 1040 WHO. So, Ed, one of the knocks on the program here in Iowa is that there's no accountability for the non-public schools in Iowa. How do we fix that?
Right. Oh, it's a great question. And here at Ed Choice, we believe in number one, and trusting parents first. I think that one of the greatest accountabilities that we see in private schools is that parents are unsatisfied with the services they're getting from private schools. They can always walk away. And if enough parents and families walk away from a private school, that private school closes. That's not the case with district schools. Typically, they just get more funding.
So, Ed, what do you see in the future? I think that, for example, in the 2026 election in Iowa, you're certainly going to have a Democratic candidate that would like to roll back the school tuition program in the state. So is it possible that the school choice program sees some setbacks across the country in the next few years?
Well, we certainly hope not, but it's a real risk. Some of the risks that we're seeing is we've seen a couple states beginning to start to limit the use of funds out of worries over, journalists taking little things, small things that they find that parents are using on funds that they find unsavory, but might actually be valid educational expenses often with a misunderstanding and turning it into a big news story. But we don't want to see that. We want to see for a truly robust marketplace of education where we're seeing, more competition and more improvement, seeing those market forces working. We want to see a broader use of funds. And certainly in Iowa, we want to see is not a rollback, but an expansion, because Iowa gets two things really well with their program. And again, anybody can apply. Everybody gets the funding, but they are still a little limited on the use of funds because in the program, you do have to use funds on private school tuition first, and then you can go ahead and use it on other educational expenses. In Iowa, it would be awesome to see the program opening it up right away to families who want to use it on other things.
Ed Tarnowski, Policy and Advocacy Director at EdChoice. Ed, fantastic talking with you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.